Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of Community Links, where service meets students. I'm Caitlin Pajus.
And I'm Alyssa McFadden. On today's episode, we're going to get to know Autism Cares Foundation. Joining us will be Linda Cooper, the co-founder and CEO of the foundation, and Frank Cooper.
Later, a member of Salle AIDS Outreach Chapter, Matt Meffy, will sit down with us to share his experiences with our on-campus service group, AIDS Outreach, and tell us how we can get involved.
Without further ado, we're here with Linda and Frank to talk about the Autism Cares Foundation and how they're impacting our local area. Thanks so much for joining us today, guys. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having us.
Welcome
to be here.
Welcome to LaSalle TV, and as we heard, this isn't your first time on television, so that's good. You're a pro.
Yeah, you're basically
I don't know
pro.
about that, but
We'll see.
I think it's just speaking from the heart about the foundation, and it kind of, and it's our passion, so that kind of helps a little bit, and having wonderful people to have a conversation about it. So
No, it's definitely an important conversation to have.
Yes, it is.
So how did you get involved with the foundation? You're obviously the co-founder, so just give us maybe a brief history of how it started, what brought you here, your story.
Absolutely. I would love to share that with you. Autism Cares Foundation started because of our son Michael. As sitting right next to me is our son Frankie, our oldest son, and our other son is Michael. And Michael was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2.5. And basically, once we received that diagnosis at that time, we had no idea what autism was. We had no clue. So my husband and I decided to do some investigating ourselves and to look into what autism is. To our surprise, it was a struggle. It was, you kind of go through emotions at that point. I call it like a grieving process, because to hear that diagnosis and not know what it's about or what direction we're going to go was pretty alarming. So we found out what autism was, and we just dealt with it. We got the services that he needed. So through early intervention, and which is basically ages from, it could be from birth to the age of 3. Michael received early intervention. But as time passed, we noticed his life was extremely different from Frankie's life. Yes. Frankie had friends.
Really?
Lots of friends. Yeah, really. Lots and lots of friends. Was able to experience what all young boys do at that age, is to have a social life, to have friends knock at the door, to shoot hoops on a beautiful day, or ride a bike, or even get invited to a birthday party. Michael's life was very different. When he came home from school, his world stopped, and he was met with therapists throughout the evening. And even when he was younger, it was, I call it a revolving door, because as one therapist would come in, another one would come in, or the different services that he had between occupational therapy and speech and PT. So his life was different. So when he came off the school bus, this is what he was met with. He didn't get invited to birthday parties. He didn't have friends. He was not able to experience the wonderful life that Frankie had and was growing up to. So as years would go by, and my husband and I said, you know, we need to make a change. How can we help Michael? But how can we help hundreds and hundreds of other children and their families struggling with this diagnosis? Because it really hits you hard, and it actually hit the whole family. Not only Frankie experienced it, my husband and I experienced it, because our friends were few as well. People weren't sure how to react to individuals with autism. So again, going back to starting the foundation, we wanted to change the world for them. We wanted them to be able to have friends and go out and enjoy themselves and connect with the community. So we decided to start a foundation, and we started the Autism Cares Foundation, which at the time was a means to provide activities and events for individuals on the spectrum. And we just took a couple of events, and we started growing and growing with these different type of events. Our first event was a music event, And I'll tell you a little story. It was held at our local library.
Yeah,
Oh, that's wonderful.
And we did not realize what the turnout would be because, you know, we had it out there and we were connecting with families and we thought we might get 20 people. Well, we ended up getting 60 people.
Wow. Oh, wow.
At the library, and we had a professional musician that came and would play the guitar and the keyboard, and the kids would run around. They just connected. They were happy. They were laughing. They were high-fiving. And some of them are nonverbal, so you just see the expressions on their face and the joy that it brought to them. And then the librarian came out and said, you know, Linda, I don't think you can have your events here anymore. It's a little too loud. And I'm like, that's okay. So that was the start of the Autism Cares Foundation, is to help Michael and to provide all these events.
And I'm sure your personal connection to it just makes it all the better, seeing all the work that goes into it and all the wonderful things that you guys do now.
Oh, absolutely. It just warms your heart because I saw the struggles with Michael, and as a parent, it's hard to see your child to be excluded from the day-to-day life that other kids get to experience. And to see your son come home and not have friends. And now, as we grow and have developed so many events now, we're up to almost 150 activities and events for them each year. Most of them are free of charge. Wow. So it's wonderful, and since our inception, which we really started back in 2008, we've provided over 700 activities and events for them to enjoy.
Oh, and it's so great to see. We hear from your story, you thought it would be like maybe 20 people in a library, and you got a showing of about 60 people, so like there definitely is the need.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people feel strongly about what you're doing and what the foundation is doing, and it's just
it's a necessity.
Yes, absolutely.
It's come down to that. These families rely on us, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful experience. And you know, as they get older, you know, their needs are different as well. So Autism Cares Foundation is also addressing the needs as they get older. But the events are definitely a big part of their life, and my son has friends. I will say Michael is 17 now, and he's almost 6 feet tall. So, you know, I'm looking up at him now, and he smiles, and he has laughter, and he has very little language. So I could just see that warm expression on his face, and it just touches my heart.
Oh. Well, you talk a lot about connection, and obviously as you grow and move through your life, that's one of the most important things you learn how to do. You learn how to connect with people, and that builds who you are as a person. If you want to talk a little bit, Frank, about your connection with your brother and how you see the foundation helping him, that'd be great.
I mean, my interactions with Michael have been, for the most part, they've been positive. You know, every sibling has their experiences here and there.
Oh boy!
Oh yeah,
they have their little rivalry there.
The one thing a lot of people don't understand, though, about being a sibling with that has a sibling with autism, is that even though he does have the mental ailment, he's still a typical teenager on the underside. I mean, he's gonna tease me and taunt me as much as he wants. Even though he can't verbally say it, he'll physically try to do things that tease and bit and pick here and there. But, I mean, my mom is right in a lot of senses. Michael didn't have a very strong social life. You know, his life would kind of end when school was over. And like she said, a revolving door, just one therapist or another occupational therapist or one person after another. And it kind of made a little bit of a hindrance for my relationship with Michael. It kind of made it hard to hang out with him, do different things, but it really does affect your life as a sibling. Your entire world basically gets flipped upside down and in multiple different ways. And I could sit here for hours and elaborate on that.
No, but thank you. Thanks for sharing that. I know that it's interesting, I guess, to watch him grow and see how certain things can help him or other children that you work with as well.
And the foundation has done quite a lot for Michael. I mean, he was already a very happy-go-lucky kid before, but with the foundation, it's bringing out a whole new side of him that I've never even seen before. He's always laughing, always smiling, and whenever he goes to these events, he's basically bouncing off the walls with excitement.
Yeah.
Sometimes literally.
No.
But
He's
nonetheless,
having a really good time.
exactly. But nonetheless, it's a very beneficial experience for him, and I'm more than happy to be a part of the foundation. And I'm almost amazed by what we've really achieved in a short time.
Oh, that's so great. So something that our show really touches on is how LaSalle students can get out and get involved with organizations that we have come on and the student organizations. So how can our LaSalle students help you? What do you guys need from us, volunteers-wise? Do you need help with events? Just can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, I would love to. We love our volunteers. We just love our volunteers, and our volunteers are extremely important to the success of Autism Cares Foundation, because many of these events that we provide, and like I said, we provide up to 150. So the different events we provide are monthly Bounce You events, weekly fitness programs, friendly sensory movies, an annual prom, a holiday party, which is coming up this Friday, where we have 445 families that are all coming together for a pretty spectacular event. We also host many dances. We do art programs. We also, hay rides. So it depends on the season, and we take these events and we make it into a very fun, friendly, safe environment. So where the volunteers come in is that we would need volunteers to interact with our individuals with special needs. And it's amazing to see how our kids connect with them. But what's important is when the volunteer gets to feel the warmth from them and to feel how happy they are that they're there, because they build connections, they build friendships, and lasting friendships. I've had many of them come up to me and say, when's the next event? So if anyone would like to volunteer, you could go to www.autismcaresfoundation.org. In our website, there is contact us, and in there's information on volunteering. Or they can just go to info@autismcaresfoundation.org, or our number, 215-942-2273. Give us a call, and they can let us know if there's any events that might interest them. And they can also go on our website, because we have all kinds of information.
You have the list and everything.
We have a
on
list
there.
of different events, but I think that's a good place to start, and then we'll find out what they would like to be involved in. We also run an iPad workshop program. We're
that's
teaching
great.
special learners how to use the iPad and how to communicate. It's learning. It's a learning program, communication program, educational.
So it's basically whatever students are interested in can
Oh, absolutely.
Go and get involved
We
as well.
definitely need volunteers. We absolutely need volunteers. Like I said, like the holiday party, we have volunteers that will come in that help us do check-in or help serve the food, interact with them dancing. They love to do line dancing. They love to do line dancing.
Well, we will definitely.
And they teach me how to do the line dancing.
That's awesome.
And it's really cool.
We'll have to go see
You're
for
gonna
ourselves
have
then.
to.
We'll have to
You have to
see for ourselves.
experience it, because once you enter and see how happy they are, it just warms your heart. And volunteers should be very proud of themselves to do that, because it's a way of giving back.
Awesome. Well, we will definitely include all of your information so that people who are interested can get in touch with you. And we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with Matt Meffy from AIDS Outreach. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much.
Thank you for having us.
When you're dying, what will it be like? You think you may know until you see what hospice can do. Expert loving care that enables more cherished moments, more smiles, maybe one more dance. Turns out when you're dying, there's more living to do. These families discovered what hospice is. See what's possible at momentsoflife.org.
Vision loss is not something that you feel until it happens.
Most people lose their vision from diseases like macular degeneration and glaucoma, not at birth.
3 million Americans have glaucoma, and half don't even know it.
11 million people in the United States have macular degeneration.
So many eye disorders can be treated if caught early.
Make a plan today to get your eyes checked.
Visit brightfocus.org to learn more.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
The United States Air Force has a proud history of leading our nation in embracing diversity. We've been reaching new heights for years by understanding it's our individual experiences which make us strong. You can share in this success by seeking opportunities to learn and grow as a member of a diverse team. We are the world's greatest Air Force, not because of what we do, but who we are. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
We're back with Community Links, the show that brings service to you. We're here with Matt Meffy to learn more about his student group and how they interact with our campus and our community. So welcome, Matt. Thanks for heading down to the Comm Center to join us.
Thank you for having me.
I'd like to point out that I love your red,
Oh, thanks.
especially with AIDS outreach. And with that, let's jump right into it. Tell us a little bit about the organization. You're a junior now, so I'm guessing you've been in with for about 3 years with
Yes.
AIDS outreach? Awesome.
AIDS outreach is basically built around people that live with HIV. We go to 2 different locations every week. On Mondays, we go to a thrift store. It's called AIDS Philly Thrift. It's in South Philly, and all of the donations from that come from actual donations from people, and the money that they make off of that goes to Philly AIDS Fund. Everything benefits that. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we go to Calcutta House. Some of you may see it on. Some of you may have seen it in the movie Philadelphia, but Tuesdays and Thursdays we go there. The house is basically a house where people that live with HIV come together. They get the medical care that they need. They get the food that they need, and they also get whatever benefits that they need. And we also do so many different events, buddy trips. Last week was World AIDS Week, an annual thing at LaSalle, and it's been a blast for the past 3 years. I'm glad to be a part of it every day.
Great. So how did you get involved, or why, I should say, did you get involved with AIDS outreach with so many other organization opportunities at LaSalle?
Service has always been a big part of my life. I volunteer at my local church all the time in Jersey City. I was a cantor there, I was an altar server there, and do a lot of other events there. So when I was choosing schools, LaSalle was built around service. It's even in its mission. So that's a big part of why I came here. I originally went to Circle K, Maplewood Manor, which was fun and it was great. I loved it there, but my old roommates and a couple of my friends always recommended AIDS outreach to me. And I was a little bit hesitant, not because, I was scared or anything, but just because I was curious. Yeah. Because you never know how it's gonna be, no matter where you go, what you do. So I went there and I fit there. I had a connection with the residents, with the entire program, with the coordinators, and it was the decision to go there I will look back on and will never have one single regret. It has been the best part of my 3 years so far here.
That's wonderful. That's a really deep connection. And I understand what you were saying in the beginning, like AIDS has a very poor connotation with it, with how it's presented in the media and in the early days of diagnosis and like back in the 1980s when people were first getting a big stream of it and whatnot, it has a poor connotation. Can you elaborate on how AIDS outreach deals with some of these connotations or stereotypes that go along with it?
I mean, the stigma's always there, but that's a lot of what our mission is about, is to ignore the stigma, to end the stigma, and to kind of give an example of the stigma, like make it a learning experience for those who may not know what it is. I see it all the time with volunteers that come to AIDS Outreach. Some of them are scared. Some of them do not come purposely for that sole reason. And I know it's hard to work around that, but we love to make it a learning opportunity because the stigma's there, but it shouldn't be there. And our goal is to let you know why it shouldn't be, how it shouldn't be, and what we want to do to make sure that it's not.
Absolutely. And this past week on LaSalle's campus, we saw AIDS Outreach in the Union with some tabling. Can you want to talk about that?
Yes, every year we around the beginning of December or the end of November, we do LaSalle's World AIDS Week. A lot of different events, guest speakers and evensong. We table in the Union from 12 to 2, Monday through Friday during that week. All of the proceeds once again go towards Calcutta House and Philly AIDS Fund. It's always a blast. The response on campus is fantastic. We make hundreds of dollars from LaSalle students. It just means the world to all of us.
Oh, that really shows, I think, that like you said, service is such a huge part of LaSalle's mission and how everyone operates on campus, that it's nice to hear that people actually do give back and people do care, even if they're not directly affiliated with the AIDS Outreach organization. So you talked a little bit about how you'll go to events or you'll visit the Calcutta House. What has been your favorite event that you've done affiliated with them?
Honestly, the buddy trips.
Buddy trips.
Because it's more than just leaving LaSalle to have a day of fun. It's an opportunity to connect with not only your friends, but the residents. Because we make our goal about them. And to leave Calcutta House where it's, it's gets kind of cluttered sometimes because we have a lot of volunteers that come by. It's hard to actually connect. We usually just go there and play games. But when we go on the buddy trips, we can, go one-on-one with some of the residents, get to know them, their stories, and it's really fun. We go to like the aquarium and baseball games.
Wow,
and
that's great.
It's really fun.
That's really cool. That's exciting. And do you have, after you've been there for so many years and you've made a connection with a lot of the residents, do you try to change it up, meet a different person each time for each buddy trip, or do you kind of call dibs on like a person that maybe you've become friends with or you just get along great with?
Originally, I did call dibs. That still goes on a little bit, but I've learned to connect with a lot more. There's a lot of new residents that came this year. I got to know them. There were a lot of old residents that left, which was sad, but I got to know them too. So they'll be my friends forever.
Perfect.
That's so great.
And do you recommend, well, of course you recommend it, you love AIDS Outreach, but do you have any ways that students can join, like, I don't know, second semester or midway through a semester because they're just finding out, or the beginning of the semester was a little busy?
During the activities fair, there's going to be another one. We're going to have a table there. But if you want to reach us beforehand, we have an email, aidsoutreach@gmail.com. It's run by one of the other coordinators, Anna Marchetti. And or if you see me around campus, let me know. Like, just run into me. Or if you want some personal other information, the best way to reach me is through my Twitter, MattMeffy2. I'll gladly tell you whatever you need to know.
Great, that's awesome. So we usually try to come up with a fun question to ask a lot of our guests. And even though I guess it was, we were trying to pick the best kind of question to ask.
Okay.
So Caitlin and I are sitting.
We were brainstorming.
We were brainstorming earlier in the Dan Rodden, and we decided that in the 12 days of Christmas, what would you most like to get as your gift? So on the 12th day of Christmas.
Oh man. Huh.
Suddenly all the words might just go out of your head.
My mind went completely blank.
If it helps, mine would definitely be 10 Lords of Leaping, because that would be quite the scene.
Okay, so which one of us would I like to get?
Which one would you,
Yeah, which
yes,
one?
which day?
Probably the 5th one, 5 golden rings.
You know,
Honestly,
I
I
mean-
would definitely trade them in for cash.
To help pay off these student loans,
Yes.
right? That's definitely going to be a factor
or
there.
to donate to AIDS Outreach.
Definitely
yeah,
to donate to AIDS Outreach.
Anytime.
At least some of them.
So if you had to talk to a freshman about joining, just real quick before we wrap up, what would you say to them?
Depending on how they feel, like if they feel scared, I'll tell them not to, for obvious reasons. But I would also tell them that if you it's not really service, it's us connecting with residents, playing games, having a good time, brightening up their day, and brightening up our day too. So just come, be yourself, and have a good time with us.
All right.
Awesome.
I think that's the best advice that you
Yeah,
could possibly
and
give.
after today's episode, I think Alyssa and I are going to be in a lot more service.
I think we are.
We are officially convinced that this is, our next semester
gonna
is going to
join
be busy with AIDS Outreach and Autism Cares Foundation. Absolutely.
All right. Well, that does it for this episode of Community Links. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, and if you would like to get involved with Autism Cares Foundation or with AIDS Outreach, feel free to contact them using the website or phone numbers available, or Matt Meffy's Twitter.
And also, you can reach Caitlin and I on Twitter, which is CL_LA_SALLE, so CL the LaSalle. You get what I'm saying. Or you can follow LaSalle TV Twitter, which is LaSalle TV Philly. So thanks so much for joining us today, guys.
And we'll see you next time on Community Links.